and welcome. This is My Thoughts. My name is BKB and I'm so excited to be here tonight. How was your week? I had a wonderful, wonderful week. I believe you also had a beautiful week. And we all know that Christmas is just like in 2 weeks. That's my favorite time of the year. Yeah, Christmas, yes. So, don't forget, we announced last week that we want you guys, to our wonderful esteemed viewers, we want you to nominate people you feel or you've, in the course of the year, people you think need help, or someone who has touched other people's lives that you feel, oh, we need to reach out to this person. This person deserves a Christmas surprise gift, a Christmas, perk or something. Just, send us a message on Twitter or on Instagram or call us, after the show to tell us, oh, this is the person I think deserves this gift because of X, Y, Z. Then we're going to look through the story of the person that needs this gift the most is the one we are going to be gifting this Christmas, because honestly, you are esteemed viewers, you are the bomb. We want to reach out because this is a season of love. It's not just for us to be talking. We actually want to make an effect in a practical way this Christmas in someone's life. And I want to encourage everyone out there, if you are listening and you feel, oh, I'll love to, and this is a laudable thing you guys are doing, I'll actually love to donate something towards someone in need or a family. I want to give my thoughts this product. I want to give my thoughts this amount of money for this person. Please, you're free. Just let us know what you want to give, and we are going to deliver the message with your name on it. Thank you so much for doing that already. I'm looking forward to see people posting on our social media pages about the people they want us to reach out to this festive season. Now, about that, we're going to go into the show proper. Yeah, I'm not alone on the show. I'm hanging out with you guys for the best 1 hour in the past few hours. I mean, we're going to have fun. We're going to share together. We're going to engage ourselves. We're going to learn. Our guest is coming or is already in the studio. We're going to have a great time together. But mind you, my co-host is actually not on set tonight. But that's just to tell you, we are going to have fun because God is here. Without him, nothing happens. So we're going to have a great time tonight, and we're going to learn, and our lives will be better for it. So without much ado, I'm going to go to the first segment tonight where we tell you things that happen on social media during the week. See you in a bit. Don't go anywhere. Don't even move an inch. You're welcome to Life Box. My name again is BKB, as you know. Last week, for about 2 weeks now, we've been talking about the masculinity, the male gender, the pressures put on them. But tonight, we want to talk about conflict management, particularly in relationships. We have seen, a lot of times we've heard stories of abuse. Some of you might have experienced it. Because if conflict is not managed properly, it can lead to all sorts of things. It can lead to abuse. It can lead to assault. It can lead to a situation where partners despise each other if conflict is not managed. And of course, the graduated one is what you have in companies, offices, beyond man-woman relationship now. You have that even nation to nation. But where do we really need to tackle it? We want to tackle it at the relationship level. What is conflict? What is conflict management? How can we undo conflicts in our relationships with our partners or even with other relatives or friends that we have? How can we manage conflict such that it doesn't become something else that we begin to look for bigger solution to solve? With me in the studio is someone so special. He's a family life therapist and is an author. He was with us actually on the show last week, and it was wonderful. So tonight we brought him back. thankfully, I agreed to come back. So welcome with me, Deji Abogo. Thank you so very, Dele Abogo. Thank you so very much. I know that your schedule is usually very busy because we're even hoping, we were praying actually, that God, let him be available, let him be available, let him be available. So it was a good thing when we got to know that you'll be able to make it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me one more time.
Yes, we're glad to have you. So, like I told our viewers, we're talking conflict management. And I know, you are you're a family therapist. You must have had such dealings with all the kind of counseling you've been doing in the past and all that. When we talk, what do you understand by conflict management? Conflict that people actually go through in their relationships or family settings based on your experience.
When we talk about conflicts, conflict simply means disagreements, but a little more than disagreements, whereby it involves hostility. And this results from varying opinions from both parties. And when that happens and it leads to heightened emotions, then you see people engage in hurtful words with high tone and abusive words as well. So conflict in itself, it's an important subject that we really have to look at because it has to do with varying standpoint, varying views, varying opinions, and until we are on the same page before we can have meaningful conversation. And that's why
when
it's good.
When we see eye to eye on the matter.
Yes.
When we talk conflict, does it mean that, let's use couples or family setting for instance, but let's use a couple, which is easier. Does it mean that when you are partners, seeing things eye to eye, does it mean we always have to agree on everything to see eye to eye? Not necessarily.
Yeah. Not necessarily. We are all different, made of different wirings because of our past experiences. We have different love languages.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a man and a woman, we are both are different, and therefore you don't expect both parties to see things from the same perspective, and therefore it should be expected. And if it's expected, then what we should be talking about is accommodating each other's divergent views. Accommodating it in such a way that will make it a unified, we maintain a unified position in addressing whatever issues that we have to address. Because sometimes it might be something that will go in favor with you, some other times it might be something that go in line in favor with me. But the important thing is that we are seeing the overall picture, and which is also going to be for the good of the family at the end of the day.
Okay, I want to ask you, when a conflict occurs in a relationship or in a family setting, what is the best approach? What is the best approach from the partners involved to tackling it? Is it best to like sweep things under the carpet and let it slide?
No.
Like, oh, you want to avoid conflict, so you want this thing to slide. You don't want issues. So it's better not to just talk about it, let's leave it. Or do we talk about it and fight it out and throw blows if possible, and then we get over it or something? What's the best approach, really?
I tell people, refuse to retreat from issues that crop up when you have disagreements.
Refuse to retreat.
Yes, refuse to retreat. Because there's this popular song that says, if you run away when you are meant to be fighting, say you will live to fight another day. And there's a different twist these days now. The person that ran away yesterday because of fighting, when it's about time for him to now even face the music and fight the fight, there's a tendency for some other people, when it comes to relationship, you see people running away practically every time. So we tell people, you don't run away from conflict. In the same vein, when you are trying to confront, you don't approach it in a destructive way. You have to do it in a constructive way. I don't have to, because I'm advising here now that we should talk about it, I don't have to damage your esteem because I'm trying to make a point.
Okay.
And that's why we tell people separate issues from persons. Separate issues from
I
person.
think I like that. That is so, and or approach the conflict resolution. Approach it in a practical. You mentioned two things now. Not a destructive way,
But
in a constructive way.
Yes.
So in doing it in a constructive way, you're saying do not focus on the person.
Yep.
Focus on the matter at hand. Do not attack the person of your partner.
Yes.
Attack the issue at hand.
For
I
instance,
think that is very, very important.
It's important.
It's key.
A typical example. Maybe we should act a bit of drama here.
Yes, please. I'm all for it. Maybe Nollywood producer can look out for me and call me to come and act.
Not you now.
Yes.
You are just figurative now.
Yeah.
You this good for nothing wife of mine. How dumb can you be? Imagine that statement. And any of our viewers that are watching, I believe your body is cringing now with how I'm attacking our host here now. Or I say,
it's not a serious thing. No?
I say, you know what, sweetheart, that thing you did that day or that thing you said that day didn't go down well with me. You know, I didn't really like it. Especially the part that you said this and this and this. You could see the difference.
Yes.
One lumped the issue with the person, the other one picked the issue out. And nailed the issue, which some people lack. So in addition to talking about refusing to retreat and separating issues from the person, then we must develop the mindset of forgiving instead of judging. And that puts you in a position where you make excuses or make allowance for your partner.
People's feelings.
Yes, people feel it because we all have weaknesses and we need to come to terms with that.
Okay, how does that work? Does that mean that I look at myself in the mirror and I'm saying, oh, BKB, this is who I am. This is who God has made me. You're not perfect. You're also growing into perfection. That is, we're all growing into perfection. So if you are not perfect, you should expect that the other person too is not perfect. So I should leave allowance for their behaviors that are not too good or unpleasantness. There's some things I may find unpleasant in their actions or attitudes. I should just give that allowance that in case they do this thing, I can easily explain it away and say, oh, just the same way I do things that others may not like sometimes, and I apologize, or if I'm made to see it, and then in the same way I should allow people to also make mistakes like that.
Yeah, like when I started, I talked about disagreement because of varying personality types, and that brings about that conflict. For instance, I always love using myself and my wife. I have traits of male and fled, and people like us are introverted. She shared the traits of choleric and sanguine. So she's an outgoing person, extrovert. So when we got married, I seem to be slow in making decisions. And she seemed to be quick in making her own decisions. So you could see opposites coming together. And interestingly, BKV, I tell people, the very thing that makes people or that attracted people in the first place before they get married becomes the bone of contention.
Things that cause conflict
after they are married. She loved the cool, calm, gentle guy. And I love somebody who have a mind of her own, boisterous, a go-getter and all those things. But when we now got married, she became too driven for my liking.
Because you become one.
Become one. Now we're living under the same roof. Before now, it's not 24/7. We see ourselves at our best. But now under the same roof, I wake up in the morning. See finish. So it becomes so difficult. So that's what we're talking about here. That's what we're talking about. So we need to be able to get to that point where we're able to manage that. And that's why we need to accommodate each other. But may I balance this, that in accommodating, you should not now accommodate something that will damage the foundation of the marriage or the relationship. Somebody that is not trustworthy, somebody that is not transparent, somebody that doesn't have integrity. The person says, good morning.
And you have to go and check outside.
You have to check outside.
Is it really
morning or evening? I'm not talking about that. So when we're talking about accommodating each other, I'm saying accommodating something that has to do with secondary matter. And when we're accommodating, we should also be talking about it. Because that was what we did. I was too slow, she was too fast, then we shifted ground, then we find a common ground. So we came together. The me that is talking now is not the me that, if you had known me 17 years back now and matured, so I can talk more now and make faster decisions now. And she's calmer now, and she can be patient with me. So we've rubbed off on each other, which is supposed to be the case, because when we talk about conflict management actually supposed to strengthen the bond of unity, and it's meant to mature us and make us become better at what we do and make the relationship stronger.
Let me hold your thought there, please. If you're just joining us, this is my thought, and we are talking conflict management in relationships. So please, you can call us on the number you see on the screen, or send your messages to us on our Twitter handle and also on our Instagram page. My thought on Instagram is my thought 0. The old there is actually 0 underscore my thoughts, my thought 0, that's MYTH 0, my thought, yeah, MYTH 0 underscore, S underscore. That is what you see there. And then on Twitter, you can also go to Rave TV channel on Twitter to talk to us, share your views, send your messages. We are going to read them. And you can call us. We'd like to know what you think. How have you been able to resolve conflicts in your relationships? Let's hear your opinion. And if you have any questions for our guest, please don't hesitate to ask your question. So that thought there, I was going to ask you that, okay, in balancing things, do we then say that in a situation where because some people think that if you're in a relationship, if you've not actually had any conflict or fight, you don't know yourselves. Do we call that LD? do we deliberately stage something to let's see how this person reacts under this circumstance? How will this person handle this thing?
The subject of conflict is applicable to all relationships. If a home or partners, whether married or engaged, are claiming that the road has been all smooth, then either or both parties are not saying the truth. Because whether we like it or yes, it's not if it will come, but it's when it comes. And that's why it's good we arm ourselves with information, healthy information that will help us make healthy choices to help make healthy relationships.
Okay. So we should just be open-minded in our relationships and expect these things to happen, but we should then prepare ourselves that when it happens, this is how we should deal with it. Now, from everything you said, I mean, I've picked some points. The first thing is that we should be mindful of our backgrounds.
Yes.
And our personality types when we are in any form of relationship. It could be love relationship, it could be colleague kind of relationship
even
at work.
In the office, yes.
It could be any kind of relationship. We should be conscious of the backgrounds we're from, different from the other person's backgrounds, our personality types come into play.
Yes.
And also, we should also be mindful of experiences that we've been involved in, because we are all products of our experiences and backgrounds and personality types. So we should be conscious of that to understanding the other person. And then once you have that understanding, it makes it easier for you to excuse their behavior. Another point you actually said, which is very key, is that our guest has said that communication, even though you're going to give allowances for the other person's failing or mistakes or what have you, or situations that can cause conflict. Another thing we have to be mindful of is we should talk about it, discuss it. Why are you letting this go, or why are you, retaining this? That is very key. Then the other thing you also mentioned, which is very, very, very important, you mentioned that one should not attack the person, but attack the issue at hand. It's very, very important to us. No, so I want to also talk about people who say couple who have already degenerated, the situation is degenerated, they've had conflicts upon conflicts, or maybe like those who sweep things on the carpet and then blow up all of a sudden. Excuse me, beg your pardon. So blow up all of a sudden. How do they come out of it? What are the steps they can take to actually confront the issues that they are not just trying to manage situations now or trying to learn to undo. They've already, I mean, their situation is that there is conflict, serious conflict. The relationship has broken down. How can they come back together to relearn or learn some things, relearn some things, learn things anew, and then begin to work at their relationship?
Okay. What I would suggest is this, and this is what I always tell people, because I have cases sometimes when they get to the point of making decision that they want to go their separate ways.
Yeah.
So what I want to advise is this: first and foremost, both parties must be willing to put in what it requires.
The work.
And both parties must be aware that there's a problem, because it's worse being in a problem and not being aware
that you are in the
problem. That's the worst state to be. But the moment you are aware that we have a problem, because I've dealt with cases, the ones that worked are people who came to that realization that we need help. And when they are willing, then they trust the judgment of the counselor that they are meeting with. I don't know either party, and therefore whatever I'm offering is time-tested tools that I'm running on them as assessments, and whatever counsel I'm giving them are counsel that I've seen through, that is time-tested, that have proven over and again how it has made things to work. So we try to identify first and foremost what is the root cause, because when you look at the messed state, you don't be deceived about what you see in the surface, because by the time you diagnose and you look deeper, like I said, I think last week I mentioned something like when I narrow some down to a point where the triggering point was because a party refused to say, "I am sorry." But it degenerated because they didn't resolve it. They didn't manage the conflict well. It further compounded, and over again. Some cases, it got the parents involved, got siblings involved, moved out of the house, got police involved, the law enforcement people, and it was so messy. So there are cases like that eventually, when they are willing, eventually we take them through different sessions whereby at the end of the day, each person is given an assignment and on which part to work with. And at the end of the day, they're able to get out of it. Those that still went back and eventually went their separate ways are people who, by the time you offer them this time-tested tools, refuse to do anything about it. And that brings me down to the fact that we must not be rigid. So you cannot continue to be who you used to be as a single person when you are married. That's one thing I've also discovered. I'm a single guy, you're a single lady. If you're even engaged now, you should start seeing those signs right now, because when you are resolving issues, you're having conflict and you're trying to resolve it, we must both be flexible and we must both be adaptable. Flexible in the sense that you can accommodate, adaptable in the sense that you can evolve into something that you are
a better version of yourself.
A better version of yourself. So,
what about those who are colleagues at work or people you have dealings with in other associations?
For colleagues at work, you need to understand the work style. Each person have different work style, and it might be your superior. If your superior's work style doesn't fit yours, because it's your superior, I've learned from a mentor. He said, whatever your superior wants, as long as you have committed to working in that organization, it might not be favorable to you, then give your boss what he or she wants. If you require that you stay in the office till 10 p.m., as long as you are still a staff of that organization, then give your boss. And if you are a superior and you have a subordinate, that doesn't necessarily mean that because you're superior, then you lord it over them, or you become somebody like a tyrant that when you are coming, because this part, cultural biases also play out in this, because some superiors, when they're coming and people are diving for covers, it feeds their esteem. And that is destructive to any organization, because you need, not this time and age, then yes, this time and age, you need to create that enabling environment. And we need to understand, when you understand your superior or your subordinate's work style, then you can leverage on it, because nobody is bad. Somebody has something that he or she is bringing to the table.
Okay, but quickly, I want to mention the area where I don't want to lose myself. I don't want to lose my voice while trying to undo conflict management. Like, because I know a lot of employers these days, they don't usually look at your CVs anymore. They want to see your people skill, your ability to manage conflict, how you react in different situations. And this also applies to love relationships, to family relationships. So I don't want to lose myself. I don't want to lose my voice. But at the same time, I'm trying to manage this situation or manage the other person by being accommodating all the time. How can I balance things such that I'm able to tell you that, look, this is what you're doing that I do not like, or I feel we should focus on this to avoid certain things. Okay. But at the same time, I don't want to be seen as, too soft, too weak or accommodating and all that.
Okay, what our advice is this. I'm a faculty member of a training leadership school, Digital Leadership Academy, and I teach team building and also leadership development. And what I tell my students, each set that comes, I tell them, like I said earlier on, whatever your superior wants, you give it. But that doesn't make you subservient. It doesn't mean that you should now not be able to lend your voice. And I also try to let them understand that in any organization, there is a communication structure depending on the organogram that's already in place. When you have a superior, maybe you have creative ideas, and maybe you are more creative than the superior, like in some cases you get such cases, and this boss not seem to be seeing it, and maybe it's the type that maybe out of insecurity is not trying to buy into. If you try that, make sure you don't just verbalize it. You write in, do a follow-up email, and if nothing still happens, then you try to, depending if you have a relationship with another upline person from a different department that are at the same level, you can have a discussion with that person. If that person can wage in, or else you write to the person, you now copy somebody that is on the a superior to the other person. But this part of our world, I know, is something that is tough, but somebody will say, I don't want to lose my job. And I said, if that person is frustrating the partner and you know your worth and your value that you are bringing to the organization, and I tell them that those people that will help your organization to that competitive level are the people that will leave your organization if they are not given the room and the freedom to bring in their input. So people should break free from that fear so that you don't feel caged. At the end of the day, what you have to offer, you won't be able to offer it. It might be a sign that organization is not meant for you.
Because you don't have the opportunity to really bring out your voice there.
I'm telling you. Yeah.
And then how do you apply that to a relationship? Do you encourage couples to invite third parties into all the time into their relationship to resolve issues or to lend voices?
Third party should be
or they should just both learn how to deal with issues?
Starting out, you go through teaching phase. So that's why I advise that people should cultivate a mentoring relationship. Okay. And what I mean by that is let your home be accountable to another family that you love the kind of values that they exhibit.
More mature, they've gone
ahead. Because sometimes at your teaching phase, you think you are going through something nobody else had gone through before. By the time this person shares his or her experience, you want to even beat yourself. Because maybe it's 1/20th of what they've been through is what you are going through. And they've overcome it. So that's why, because myself and my wife are passionate about family life, so we created a WhatsApp group that both our past and current counselors, including those that we don't know that came for counseling. We created that group as a mentoring platform to let them know your issues are not beyond repair.
They're not out of this world.
And that's why I tell people, if you are watching and you feel you've lost hope, and it seems as if nothing seems to be working, If both of you are willing, I'm telling you, there's no marriage, neither is any relationship that is beyond remedy. If only both of you are willing to give it what it takes.
I love that, because I was just going to say that you should give your last words on all that we've discussed, particularly to those who might be going through issues right now and they're looking for solutions. I love what you said earlier. So I want to give you your last words generally now.
Okay. No relationships are perfect. And because of the imperfection, there will always be conflict. And because there's conflict, that's why management comes in. Some management, you express your concern and your partner will say, work on it, and maybe the thing is totally resolved. Some other times, your partner works on it and you resolve partially, and you move on with your life. Some other cases, your partner work on it and it seems not to be making any headway. So in all of this, just know that the issue of conflict is inevitable, and that management, you require skill of management to make every other thing works. And whatever it is, talk to someone, not your family members, not your siblings, not your parents, but someone that maintain a neutral figure that can, preferably a professional counselor that doesn't have anybody's interest at heart, but will address the issue objectively.
Thank you so very much. Thank you very much, Dele Abogo. Yes. We are really grateful to have him, honestly. But because of our time, we have to wrap up the show. I want to believe you've learned one or two things, even though I wish we had callers on the show. Maybe, I don't know what happened to our phone lines, actually. So, but we can continue the conversation on our social media platforms, even after the show. I want to thank everyone who listened out there. But out of everything our guest said tonight, some things are very fundamental and key, and I would not want us to forget. When you have conflict with anyone, do not attack the person of your partner or whoever it is. Attack the issue. Attacking the person is when you begin to use the person's weaknesses or situations to abuse them. Things, maybe they have areas of their lives they're struggling with, you begin to bring it to the fore to criticize them. That is attacking the person rather than attacking the issues. So learn to attack the issues at hand and not the person. That is how to have a long-lasting relationships with people. Despite, no matter how big the conflict is, if you can walk through that, is a sure sign that you can come out of it. And then another thing he said is communication. Let's talk about these things. What you're doing that I don't like, why we have to both sit down and recognize these issues, and or not both alone, why we all have to, if it's a group, let's talk about it. What are the things we need to address? Address it. And then let's move on gradually onto better relationships. So thank you so very much. I hope we've learned all these things so that next time we talk, we want to hear that, oh, because of this, I've learned this and I have a better relationship with my spouse or with my family member or with my colleague because of this. Thank you so much for joining on the show tonight. And we are going to see you again next week. But before then, have a fabulous, fabulous weekend and see you next week. God bless you.